They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Well, it is Friday, and boy, talk about getting through a week. I'm only, 12 minutes late. Hey, welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. It is the Free-for-All Friday. Having a little trouble here in the U-308, that would be the Prepared Mind submarine, getting a clear signal out to you guys, and I'm adrift. We're now hunting the Russian sub, and then I'm going to stop over for a layover in the RMZ. Anyways, coming at you live. It is Friday afternoon. Get your questions in. We got a lot to talk about, folks. A lot of SHTF has happened. It has not been a great week. The stupid is getting stupider. And I don't even want to tell you about my day job. The stupid there. It is crazy. But you know what's crazy? Beyond crazy is the temerity, the unmitigated, unbridled hubris of Washington, D.C., folks. This had to be my show opener. The Biden regime, folks, they released internal documents, and they have declared, folks, that Trump supporters are domestic terror threats. And the Biden regime has asked the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, their intelligence unit, to target them. Try me, fuckers. But seriously. Yeah, try me, DHS. But here's the question. Trump supporters are domestic terror threats. There's only, 100 million of us? And probably 4 out of 5 are going to vote this election? Are you kidding me? Well, it's no joke, folks. It's unbelievable. But with commies in Washington, in the White House, in Congress, in the Supreme Court, and in the bureaucracy, you can bet your ass we're going to see this type of action. It is unconscionable and disgusting, as well as unconstitutional. What a bunch of stinking, filthy cowards. And by the way, this is exactly what, you guessed it, Adolf Hitler did. This is exactly what Joseph Stalin did. This is precisely what Chairman Mao did. They make an enemies list, people they don't like, people that would oppose them, and then they secretly give it to their law enforcement, their military, their militarized law enforcement, and they target us, and then they start coming after us. First, 1 or 2 here and there, and then they finally get somebody to stand up for themselves and shoot back, and then they declare an all-out open war on people who oppose their tyranny and their murder, folks. Their murder. And speaking of mass murders, here we go one more time in the state of Utah. The state of Utah. And by the way, this is a Fox News story. Mainstream media. A mass murdering, parent murdering, child murdering organization of fruitcakes are out there. They're called the transgender world, folks, the LGBTQIA+. And in Utah, another transgender man pretending to be a woman has shot its parents dead. Cold blood. You want to know how cold this is? The trans fruitcake said he, because it has a dick, unless he cut it off, and he still has the XY chromosomes. He says he would do it again. That is cold, folks. Cold-blooded murder. And also there is a moral and religious statement in this. And I'm going to share it with you to show you not how religious I am or how pious I am, but rather to show you how evil and satanic Democrats are, right? Honor thy father and mother. That is what our job is as the sons and daughters of the people who raised us. Honor thy father and mother. That's one of those 10 commandments, I think. Is that one of the 10 commandments, or is it just one of those things that gets repeated a lot? I think it's a frickin' 10 commandment. And by the way, yeah, in Louisiana, they're putting the 10 commandments in every school. I think every classroom, even, they have to be posted somewhere. Well, the ACLU decided to jump up and rear its head again. That's right. The ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, as well as a couple of anti-Christian, anti-moral groups. You know, they may as well just come out and say they're the Church of Satan. They're trying to fight it, but it's not looking like it's going to go real well in the state of Louisiana when it comes to this, because they actually have historical fact and precedent about this whole separation of church and state, right? If the state can recognize the Church of Satan and allow them to put displays up in Iowa, even though that one man tore them down, destroyed it, and didn't get charged with a crime, even, you know, in many states, they have their after schools club. How can a school allow a religious group to have meetings there, like the Church of Satan? Well, they're recognizing it, are they not? Well, you know, this is going to turn into a nasty fight, folks. These people are who they are. They are evil. Whether they're with this other church, the evil church, the church of the Democrats. I mean, think about it. They keep talking about they're trying to destroy our democracy. Or like, if your idea of democracy is self-mutilation, destruction of all that's good and moral, attacking innocence, then yeah, we don't need a democracy, which itself, folks, when left to its own devices, democracy becomes a very evil thing. It does, because you end up with 5 wolves telling 4 sheep what's for dinner because they voted. Unbelievable. You and I, anybody who's a Trump supporter, is a domestic terror threat, folks. You bet. Meanwhile, Biden's people, and I know it's going to be your tune real soon. We do the shotgun back and forth. It is the Friday free-for-all. So get ready, Mr. Ooman. Get ready, folks. Get your questions down below while I cover this one last bit of Democratic crap with Biden's people, folks. That is the people that Biden has allowed to come across the border. The Department of Homeland Security is supposed to keep an eye on you as a Trump supporter, but let everyone in the country. That's right. In Houston, folks, in the great state of Texas, Houston police have arrested 2, not 1, but 2 illegal aliens because they have abducted, raped, and murdered a 12-year-old girl. Once again, Biden's people attacking, kidnapping, raping, and murdering. And in this case, all in one, a pre-teen girl. It is sickening to read this, folks. And Biden doesn't think he's responsible. Mayorkas laughed about it when asked if he shares in guilt, if he is responsible, if he should be accountable. The Border Patrol in Texas, that's there, federal agents working in the state of Texas, allowing these miscreants in and mixing amongst their people. Chin Music, he lives right there. Darcy T lives right there in Texas. This is going on, folks. It's not just Texas, though it is. As far north as New York and Chicago and Milwaukee, where these people are. It's going to get uglier, folks. Uglier. All right, let's do this. It is the Friday free-for-all. I couldn't help myself. I had to step into it a little bit. What do you guys want to talk about? It is the time to go back and forth. Bam, bam, bam. Let's talk about it. Ooman says, why is that fruitcake not getting charged with a hat crime? Well, you know, hats are a taste thing. You know, some people like a hat, some people don't. I myself am not worried about hat crimes, but yeah, hate crime. Why is that fruitcake not getting charged with a hate crime? Well, what's interesting, and this is fact, right? If you see a black person attacking or being attacked by a white, it's a hate crime. If you see a black person attacking, assaulting, murdering a white, it's not a hate crime. They are apparently Democrats and they get a pass. Okay, let's ask another question. Why is it when teenage boys ride their scooters on paint on the ground, the colors of the paint are blue, green, yellow, orange, and red, sometimes purple even. If you ride your scooter on that, and if you upset a pebble or leave any trace of your presence, that is a hate crime. But if you're a fruitcake, you can burn the American flag. You can burn the American flag. You can burn symbols of America. You can attack Trump flags and tear them down. You can interrupt an American meeting, an American holiday, anything American. Not a hate crime. Why? Because you're a fruitcake and a Democrat. Right? If you do anything, if you say anything mean to an LGBTQIA freak, they're going to start screaming hate crimes. They can call you cisgendered, a stupid normie, right? If you even try saying that we should have heterosexual pride, they're going to start screaming. Everything is hate for us. Everything is hate. For them, not a bit. Because it is an unjust system. It is completely unjust. Everything we do can be interpreted as hate. Why is that? If we look to the very simple, and this is a very simple concept within psychology called projection. When you see everywhere else the thoughts in your head, you project and say, yeah, that's what that is. So racists see racism everywhere. Homosexuals, trans, bis, gays, lesbians, intersex, animals, whatever the hell these fruitcakes are, they hate you, and they hate me, and they hate Christians, and they hate morality. Oh, yes, they do. And so they can do whatever they want, but they see and hate us, folks. So they think that that's exactly how we see them. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't hate them, but I think that their movement needs to be removed from the public spotlight because there's nothing redeeming about them. There's nothing good about the world of fruitcakery. There just isn't. There is nothing good about it. Hey, let's have some more fun with you guys. I did, 3 different stories. What else do you guys want to talk about? And then I'll jump onto something of mine. Mr. Uman, where do we want to go next? As I set sail aboard the submarine U-308. And it is Chin Music. And he says, the bots are after me on Facebook. The bots, folks, are computer robots, a very unintelligent, weak form of artificial intelligence. But they're chat bots. They've been around, at least 10 years. Chat bots, at least 10 years, and they can type into a computer and do things. He says, the bots are after me on Facebook due to my fruit salad tongs being a little insensitive. Yeah, you're tonging them up. You're talking about them. You're tonging them. You're messing with them. You're flinging them around. And Chin says, I've definitely made someone's list. Wow, I think you've made the list and you've checked it twice, man. And when it comes down to being naughty or nice, I think Santa's going to have one hell of a year by the time we get to Christmas, deciding which ones of us have been naughty and not. I mean, look, here's a fact. When it comes to SHTF, when it comes to war, when it comes to revolution, when it comes to coup d'etat, when it comes to modern elections, violence is going to be everywhere. Hurt feelings is going to be everywhere. Bad words is going to be everywhere. Times are going to get tougher, folks. And I did watch an interesting video today of a guy in New York City. I believe it was New York City, driving around with a microwave over his head like a helmet with the door open. And he explained to people, and I found this fascinating, what an interesting venue in which to broadcast his message from. An open microwave on his head. But he said, look, change is coming. Change is going to be difficult. And if you think you're going to get through it without times being very hard, you're just fooling yourself. And I'm completely paraphrasing this guy because I was so busy laughing at him, but his words struck me as true. The world is going to change either all the way to fruitcake way or all the way back. Right? The only way for it to keep going towards fruitcakeism is for the entire system to break 100%. But whether it breaks all the way to stupid off the hook, idiocracy, there's no way I can deal with that. I can't deal with that. No way. It can't be done. I would, folks. I would end up like probably most of you, participating in the crazy. Participating. Anyways, thank you very much, man. Crazy world, folks. And, where do we go next? How about this? Steve Bannon. The question has come up. Justice and the Supreme Court or lawlessness and the Supreme Court? Steve Bannon's lawyers have filed an emergency stay application at the Supreme Court. What they're saying is that he needs to stay out of federal prison. And guess what? Justice Roberts, that would be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Roberts, is going to take action on this. Surprise, surprise, surprise. He has ordered the Biden Department of Justice, and you know who that includes. You know who that includes. Right? Merrick Garland. The question is, and oh, by the way, Biden's Department of Justice has until next Wednesday, to file a response to a emergency stay. Now, what I want to know is, will the Supreme Court accept the law that says habeas corpus, due process, and recognizes the Seventh Amendment rule against unusual punishment? Cruel and unusual punishment, but in this case, unusual punishment. One second. Okay. Listen, Hillary broke the law. Federal crimes, real injured party, lost data, security breach, CIA agents killed, special forces teams killed, ambassador killed, Hunter Biden has sex with underage girls, snorts coke off of hookers' asses, incredibly speeds, heading to Vegas while whacked out on drugs, accepts bribe money from the mayor of Moscow, China, works for Burisma, making $50,000 a month with zero executive experience and zero experience in the energy industry, throws away a gun on the street, Who knows what else this clown is involved in, using his father, the big guy, the president, to shake money out of China? He's fine. Comey, James Comey, former FBI director, has a felon right in his sights. His felon destroyed 30,000 plus emails, refused subpoenas, stonewalled, lets her go. Ruby Rod Rosenstein lies. Peter Strzok lies. Lie. Stonewall. Refuse subpoena. No problem. So it would be an unusual punishment to send Steve Bannon to jail for a crime that really isn't a crime, especially when compared to what real criminals do. All right, Mr. Uman, we're a third of the way through this Free for All Friday. And Diving Frog checks in and says, all I've seen all day is people are doing the dumbest shit for no reason. Any excuse to fire away. Why is it always a bunch of leftists? Well, I don't know which particular stupid shit you're looking at, Diving Frog. Are you looking at the 4 people who got in a gunfight at a grocery store called the Mad Butcher in Arkansas? 4 people in a gunfight, 8 people got shot. One of them was a cop. Is that what you're talking about? Stupid shit? Are you talking about the Juneteenth celebration where a bunch of people got shot? Right? And when the ambulance shows up, what happens? A bunch of filthy, nasty ghetto hoes go over to the ambulance and start twerking on it. And then, of course, filthy ghetto brothers want to go up and pretend like they're banging them and then film it. Didn't your friends just get shot in your celebration of nothing? Is that the dumb shit you're talking about? What other dumb shit is there, folks? It's unending. And I agree with it. All day, all week, folks. Ever since Biden took office, it has been just stupid shit after stupid shit. And it is the leftists. I would say at least 95% of mass murders are done by leftists. And typically, and I'll say this with some reservation, that if it's a Republican who has gone after and killed people he doesn't like, it's probably for a reason that is justifiable. Kind of like the Killdozer guy, right? He didn't actually kill anybody. He just killed some private property before he was killed. In any event, justice, righteousness, that's always in the eye of the beholder, right? These left-wing lunatics see all their mass murder attempts as, I guess, justifiable. Just as I would see somebody who, say, goes after the IRS for lying about his income and stealing his house, his property, and destroying his life. Yeah, I could see why that would piss somebody off and cause them to go ape shit and start killing IRS agents. You know, tar and feather 2.0. In any event, it's best to stay back, best to stay out of the way, best to stay prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. I tell you, it's just not ending, folks. My phone keeps lighting up with stupid messages. Crazy shit. Good topic. But you want stupid? You want crazy? You want what the hell is this guy thinking? None other than my once favorite action film hero, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He served as an action hero. He served as a bodybuilding hero. He served as a fitness hero to me for a long time. And then he opened his mouth. He opened his mouth and said these words. We have a little bit of words to get through, then we'll get to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Screw your freedom.
Oh, yes, yes. Arnold, screw your freedom, Schwarzenegger. He has joined forces with who? Put on your thinking caps. Who is the dumbest person, the worst person to consider an ally, to join forces with to make a difference in the world? Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger decided to choose none other than John Podesta, folks. Democrat, no. Sleazy, slimy, filthy, scandal-plagued Democrat John Podesta. That's right, folks. Schwarzenegger joining forces with an alleged pedomaster and witches coven member, John Podesta. That's not a good look for you, Arnold. And guess what they're joining forces to battle, folks? Climate change. So an action hero and an alleged pedophile from the pizza, hot dogs with extra cheese group. That's who you join to battle for climate change? Folks, celebrity doesn't make fake science any more real or believable. Screw your celebrity, Arnold, right? Screw your lies and your bullshit. Remember, he said he doesn't care about your privacy. He doesn't care about your rights. Screw your freedom. That's our good buddy Arnold, folks. He's back and he's doing more stupid. More stupid. I can't even pretend to watch the old movies. One of my favorite movies, Predator, forget it. Terminator, forget it. Terminator 2, forget it. Total Recall, forget it. Can't watch them anymore. Done. Just like that. Even what I consider to be mindless, lighthearted entertainment, I want to make sure Arnold gets zero royalties for it. All right, Mr. Ooman, we're about halfway through the show. Let's do some more from you guys in the audience. What do you want to talk about? We got Name Redacted in the house. And he says, okay, no one ever brings up Mayorkas being Hispanic, pouring in mostly all Hispanic people. Well, I don't know. Is that accurate? We have in California massive numbers of Chinese, not Mexicans, not Central Americans, not South Americans, not Latinos and Latinas, fucking Chinese. Over in Texas, they have Pakistanis, Saudis, Arabs from Arab Emirates and wherever else Arabs and Arabs live, Northern Africans, Central Africans, coastal Africans. And then, we also have people from, I think, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, everywhere. But let's just say that most of them, mostly all Hispanic, mostly all? Well, what is it? All or mostly? Anyways, Hispanics. And the Hispanics we're finding out, are criminals. Criminals who, in some cases, have already been kicked out of the country from 1 to a dozen times. Criminals who have been convicted in their countries of rape, murder, theft, home invasion, name it. Oh, yeah. Drug trafficking, sex trafficking, drug dealing. In fact, I believe the drug cartels have discovered that trafficking humans, that is, kidnapping Americans, gets them more money than selling drugs. I'm telling you, if you've got a daughter or a handsome little son, you better protect them. Story came out today. 2 grown men in their 20s standing next to a van decided to get their attention up and approached a 16-year-old girl and asked the girl to help them load some stuff into their van. The girl fortunately said no and ran away. Since when do 2 men in their 20s need a 16-year-old girl to help them? I hope and pray that next time she sees 2 men, 1 man, 3 men standing next to a van that she doesn't even continue walking anywhere near it. You just turn around and go the other way. Turn around and go the other fucking way. Crazy, folks. Now, and Mayorkas is I believe, a Hispanic. And I just lost his first name in my head. He's a piece of shit. You know, color doesn't matter. Race doesn't matter. Gender doesn't matter. What matters is what kind of person you are in your head and your heart. I know there's Muslims that are good people, folks, because I've met them, I talked to them. These jihadi, Islamist, Sharia law motherfuckers, they're the evil ones because of what they do. I watched a video today. Guess what they did? Someone sent me a video. Hey, look. It's some Muslims in Pakistan. Oh, Pakistan. What did they do? They caught a non-believer, doused him in petrol fuel, and lit him on fire while he was alive. And then they all stood around and danced as he cooked and died, flailing on fire. We used to believe that women were the seat of the concept and the embodiment of nurturing. Our mothers, our grandmothers nurtured us, raised us, loved us. You look at Democrat women, they celebrate abortion. They celebrate it and all manner of filth and destruction and death. It's the head and the heart, folks. It has nothing to do with skin color. So Mayorkas, the fact that he's Hispanic, doesn't bother me a bit. He's pretty damn white for a Hispanic. Could we put up that comment? I never did get to the second line. I'm still stuck on the first line. It kind of got my attention. It got my attention. I want to get to the second line on that comment. Name Redacted says, it's very curious to me and should be called out since they love to inject race. See, that's a divisive issue. Race, religion, gender, age. See, what they want to do is they want to divide us. And yeah, they'll normally inject race. But if they injected his race, people might say, hey, Mayorkas is letting in people because he's Hispanic and he wants more Hispanics here. So they don't want that kind of attention. Instead, they want to pretend like, no, he's just a benevolent government bureaucrat in charge. But everywhere else, they're going to inject race or gender or age to divide us. And I tell you what, every time I see people fighting, I look to see what race is going on. I look to see what their age is. I look to see what their gender is. I look to see if there's a religious element. And it pisses me off when I see it. So I know it's being done intentionally. That is the ultimate thing because it works, folks. Divide and conquer. If I had to attack the entire nation of America, all 350 million of us, united as Americans, I would have very little chance. But let's just say I divided everyone between male and female. Well, now I don't have 350 million people to deal with. Now I have 175 million to deal with. So let's divide it up black and white. We're gonna make race an issue there. Well, you just cut that 175 million down in half again. Right now you're at 87,500,000. Cut that shit right in half. Well, let's bring in religious crap, Christian and non-Christian. Okay, so 87.5 million. Let's just cut that down to 43,750,000. See what I'm saying? The more they divide us, the smaller the groups are that they want to attack. Fuck them. Look, either you're good in your head and you're good in your heart, or you're a rotten, evil son of a bitch. And I know who the rotten, evil sons of bitches are out there because they express and expose themselves constantly. Great comments there. Very good. Very good. Now, Heidi checks in and says, interesting how the crime in those countries is plummeting. Now, here is a very interesting note. The very worst criminals and scum are leaving those countries, whether they be in Central or South America, Eastern or Northern Africa, the Middle East, India, and the Stan countries. I can't say that crime is going down, but it's hard to believe that it isn't, considering millions have left all of these countries, and they are the absolute worst amongst them. They have no education, no intelligence, no skills, nothing that would help them live and prosper in their own countries, in their own culture, in their own religion. These people are rejects. They are rejects, and they're coming here. But when you said crime is plummeting, I would be more apt and prone to believe you, Heidi, with this one exception. Did you realize, do you, and I mean all of you, not just Heidi, I found this out just the other day, that Biden, that's right, His Eminence Grease, Joe Biden, El Presidente of the United States of America, his regime is claiming that crime is dropping. Crime is plummeting, to use your word, Heidi. Can you believe that? Do you believe that crime is plummeting in Uman's cherished and beloved neighbor of Chicago? By the way, folks, he lives closer to Kenosha, Wisconsin than Chicago. He lives closer to Cincinnati than he does to Chicago. He lives closer to Dallas than he does to Chicago because he has the mobile command center. Anyways, back to plummeting. Crime is not plummeting in America or anywhere else to any great degree. What they're doing is they're not recording things as crime. So if the police don't arrest people because, well, shoplifting is fine, assault is fine, breaking and entering is fine, trespassing is fine, damaging and destroying public property is fine, damaging and destroying personal property is fine. Hell, in some cases, even murder is just fine. Because the cops aren't arresting, the statistics don't grow. And then if they do arrest somebody, they take them to the district attorney. District attorney's office lets them go. Just like Alvin Bragg, folks, the same guy who was gone after Trump for hush money that his former attorney paid without his knowledge. And he's still guilty of it, which isn't a crime, by the way. He's guilty of doing something he didn't do that isn't a crime, but we need to hold him guilty of crime. And then, even after the trial, after the verdict, after everything else, Trump is no longer allowed to. He can't talk. He's not allowed to talk, damn it. Don't let him say anything, because Alvin Bragg, get this, is getting death threats. He's getting threatened. And that means you need to silence the President of the United States. You have to silence the President of the United States because a little chicken shit, or rather a fat ass, greasy, smelly, stinking hypocrite in New York is scared. Folks, the only thing that would be scared is the steak or bucket of chicken sitting in front of him. That's what ought to be scared. But in any event, he's not prosecuting all of those Columbia University and other college students that were committing acts of violence and threats and property destruction and trespassing, as well as assault on Jews and threatening Jews, the entire Jewish population, Americans, white people, etc. All of these pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist, pro-Palestine scumbags, they're being let go. I think all but just a few. So if they're not prosecuting them, how can they call that a crime? It's not a crime, folks, until they're convicted in court. Up until that point, they're alleged criminals, suspected criminals. You see, you have to be prosecuted to be a criminal. And if they're not prosecuting, it's going to look like crime is plummeting. Don't buy it, Heidi. Keep your powder dry and your optics smudge free. So while I'm talking about Alvin Bragg, yeah, he's asked the judge, to extend the gag order on Trump, even though the hush money trial's over. But he's saying it's Trump supporters that are threatening him. You don't think it's Jewish people that are threatening him because they're tired of being threatened by Hamas and he's not prosecuting them? You don't think it's other people who are having crimes against their personal property, their businesses, are calling up Alvin Bragg going, look, you bastard, do as you're told, follow your orders, protect us, damn it, or we're going to kick your ass, right? They're New Yorkers. They're going to say things like, fucking kick your ass, man. Anyways, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, the only thing that should be afraid, right, in this case would be a steak or a bucket of chicken placed in front of Alvin Bragg. But he's using cowardice as his justification for violating the President of the United States' free speech rights and his ability to campaign for the presidency. It is, folks. It is election interference. Now, if Trump tells people to harm Alvin Bragg, if he encourages people to threaten and take action, hey, and harm Alvin Bragg, then Trump is an accessory to the crime. Then Trump is instigating violence, and he can be charged with that. But stopping someone from existing and speaking because he might do something, or he may do something, or he could do something. He could commit a crime. He might commit a crime. He may commit a crime. That is obscene and filthy, illogical thinking. It is complete off the charts logical fallacy. Well, John, he might commit a crime. We don't know which crime it is. He could rob a bank. He could steal a yacht. He could hijack a plane. He could assassinate a politician. We need to arrest him now, pre-crime. You see, isn't that interesting? The thought of pre-crime. Well, you're predisposed to criminal thinking and therefore criminal behavior. So we have to arrest you ahead of time to make sure that you don't have the opportunity in the future to commit a crime. So if you're a Trump supporter, guess what, folks? If they can take Trump and remove his ability to commit a crime by not allowing him to speak, why don't they just arrest him and say, well, he might grab someone by the pussy? But if they can do it to Trump, they can do it to you. They can do it to you. They can do it to me. And I don't feel like allowing myself to be arrested anytime soon. That's why I said it's obscene. It's obscene, folks. And it is filthy to use cowardice as an excuse and present that as the reasoning to a judge, and then to have a judge allow it. So far, all I know that he's asked a judge to extend the unconstitutional Trump gag order. I don't know if it's been granted or not. But we seem to have a serious problem, folks, with these left-wing lunatics. All right, Mr. Uman, we got 15 minutes left in the show, and Village Idiot says, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Well, let's see. It's interesting. Right? The man behind the curtain. Which man are we talking about? You pull the curtain back, there's Biden. Pull the curtain back, there's Obama. Pull the curtain back, there's Alvin Bragg. Pull the curtain back, there's Chief Justice John Roberts. Pull the curtain back, there's Ruby Rod Rosenstein. Pull the curtain back, there's Jane Comey. Pull the curtain back, there's Hillary Clinton. Not a man. There's a lot of men behind a lot of curtains. Pull the curtain back, there's the Rothschilds. We've got some evil out there, folks. We got some evil out there. I mean, on the lowest level to the highest. Did you know that today it was reported that in Atlanta, didn't I just talk about another Georgian politician? It was a prosecutor that was a Republican, supposedly Republican, who was arrested for like stealing, embezzling $4,000. We got fat ass Fannie Fat-ass Fannie Willis spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on herself. And many other mayors and prosecutors and big shots around the country are committing all kinds of crimes, folks. Oh, the BLM leader buying mansions for herself. Beautiful, fucking beautiful. Well, in Atlanta, here we go again, a judge has been arrested because she decided she would assault a police officer, well, at the bar she was getting herself liquored up at. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Another Democrat done. And she looks like she could be fat-ass Fanny's sister from the picture I saw. A Democrat, a lawyer, a judge who thinks she can violate the law without consequence. Well, interestingly, she's been arrested. Now, you know what the real surprise will be? When she's not prosecuted. When she tells the other judge in Atlanta, I didn't touch him. I didn't assault him. He put his hands on me, so I put my hands back and defended myself. She'll make up whatever shit she has. She can have the judge throw it the fuck out. And you know what's worse than that? These fucking cops that see all this corruption, all of this corruption, and they're just fine with it. They'll work in that system. They'll work in a town where a judge can assault a police officer and not suffer any consequence. They'll work in a town where the prosecutors, the district attorneys can lie, cheat, steal, and fuck people over, and they're good with it. Now, I've got a good story, folks. You ready for this one? A little follow-up on that? In the great state of Florida, folks, way down over on the Gulf Coast, in this town called Madeira Beach, a.k.a. Mad Beach, mayor has stepped down because he says there's a problem. The town is corrupt. Bureaucrats in the town are corrupt, and they're enforcing some rules and not others, and they're doing everything they want, and they're running it like it's their own little toy. I paraphrase that. That's great. He says, I'm doing this publicly, resigning, hoping that someone at the state level comes and investigates all the corruption in this town of Madeira Beach. Mad Beach, just north of St. Pete Beach. I looked at a map. Just south of Clearwater. I'm good. It's good to see. I don't think anything's going to change, right? But quite possibly it could. How can you work in a city, in a town, in a state where everything is corrupt and they know it? All right, Mr. Uman, let's do it. Who is up next? Who's got something to say? It is Chin Music. He says, we are tired of it. I don't think that's enough. I don't think just saying we're sick and tired of it's enough, but we're not there yet. I know Chin Music says, and people I've talked to realize we are on our own. Yes, we are. We're on our own. These police, these judges, these DAs, they don't really give a fuck. At some point, they're going to pull up their little skirts, put on some running shoes, and jog off and leave us with the fucking mess they've created. Chin Music continues and says, we are not calling the cops anymore if you get my drift. I saw a sign today. Someone sent me a picture of a sign in Texas. It was a road sign put up on a private road. It says, private road. Warning. Residents have guns and backhoes. Stay away. They're warning people, stay the fuck out. They're letting people know they have guns and backhoes. What's a backhoe good for? Digging a very quick, efficient, and deep hole. Now, understand this, folks. When planting large sacks of fertilizer that you have created, be sure and put the dirt over them and then plant protected flowers that can't be removed. Check in frequently for more tips on gardening with John. I hope you all got my drift on that, right? California, plant some golden poppies. They can't go in there and dig up your fertilizer that you planted 6 feet under. Get my drift? Well, I know you do. I know you do. And let's do this now. Let's have a little fun on this Friday free-for-all, shall we? Well, on the great island of Malta in the Mediterranean, a 36-year-old influencer, social media influencer, died of a heart attack while on vacation. Folks, when I have an opportunity to go on vacation, I relax. I like to have an alcoholic drink. If I get a chance, maybe smoke a very fine cigar or whatever is available to smoke. Just joking. I don't smoke the weed, the ganja. That was funny. Last time I was on an island, one of the locals said, "Hey, man, I'll show you the ganja, dude. It's growing right over there." I'm like, in America, dude, everyone grows it now. It's not a fucking secret. Anyways, 36-year-old dies of a heart attack while relaxing on vacation in Malta. Not a super athlete, an influencer. But what do influencers typically look like? Influencers typically look like, well, if they're women, and in this case, Farah is a woman, or was a woman, they're attractive. They're models. They want to show everyone how sexy they are, and so they get a lot of followers. 36-year-old, I'm going to double check. I need to be certain. I'm going to double check and look into Farah and see what she looks like. Da na 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 da ba ba bum ba dum bum 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 boom. All right, how much money did you put on it? Let's see if John is right. And the link took me to MSM.com, Microsoft. And it is absolutely refusing to give me any information. I think I'm on the list. Fuckers. Anyways, I'm sure I'm correct because people don't go to influencers that are unattractive. I don't think they do anyways. Not me. Okay. You know what? There's so much to talk about. Where do we go next? Mr. Uman, what shall we talk about? And we got Diving Frog. He says, John, if it's okay to burn the American flag, why can't I do burnouts on some ass rammer's Skittles flag? Great question. Because your burning out is offensive to them. And because they're a protected class of people, they believe that you've offended them, and that's a special type of crime. It's bullshit. It really is. It's BS. It's BS sprinkled with horse shit and pig shit. Now, it used to be illegal, folks, to burn an American flag. I remember being a young teen or a young child, somewhere, around 1980. And there was a massive trial. You see, somebody was wearing a pair of shorts that looked like it had the American flag stitched onto one of the pockets or used as a patch. Well, they were arrested for desecrating the American flag. And it went to trial, and it went to the Supreme Court. And they said, no, you are allowed to burn the flag of the United States of America as an expression of free speech. You can disagree with the country. You can disagree with other countries. You can disagree with other people. You can disagree with other ideas. You could disagree with the color of shit. You could disagree with the color green. You could disagree with clouds in the sky or lava under the earth. You could disagree with whatever you want. And while disagreeing with that in your head, you could burn the flag and say, that's part of my disagreement. It's free speech. Yet, somebody puts on public property a color of paint, the primary colors, in a specific order that's associated with ass rammers and child molesters. That's right, folks. That's right. Those colors and those insignias and those symbols are associated with people who attack and destroy the most innocent people on the planet. And they know it. And so they want to stay away from any state that says you harm a child sexually, you're going to be terminated, executed, eliminated, death penalty. And they're like, you're trying to kill us LGBTers. No, we're trying to kill people who hurt children. And that's a deterrent. Good. Stay the fuck out of my state. Now, I like free speech. I don't think it's right to burn the American flag. But I don't think it's a crime. It is just a piece of cloth. As long as it's not someone else's piece of cloth that you stole off of their property. Now, if you're flying the American flag on your flagpole on private property, it's being flown as a flag, right? With integrity, with honor, with, shall we say, a sacrosanct existence. Private property. So if someone goes through all the trouble of trespassing, pulling it down, taking it, stealing it, and then burning it, that to me seems to be a crime. Pretty severe one too. But if you've got your own piece of cloth, you should be able to burn it. Now, putting paint on public property and then saying no one's allowed to disturb that paint. Well, when it rains on it, is that a hate crime? You're going to go after God with a hate crime for raining on it and trying to wash it away? How about the dog? This is all over the internet today. Not quite as popular as the Haktua girl, but gotcha, Uman. I got there, buddy. I got there. 57 minutes in, and I got there finally. Not as popular as the Haktua girl, but there's a dog in an inner city taking a crap on rainbow paint on the ground. And the question is this a hate crime? Dog shitting on it. Is that a hate crime? Right? If humans can commit hate, well, maybe dogs can too. Anyways, it's ridiculous, man. It's coming to an end also. It's been pushed so far. Uman says, I'm so sick of that meme already. The Haktua, spit on that thing. Thang. Right? Now, listen, I think it's funny still. I don't know if I'm going to be over it by Sunday. I might. And speaking of Sunday, it's going to be Sunday Night Live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You betcha. Right here on the Prepared Mind channel. We're going to have YouTube. We're going to have the preparedmind.club. We're going to have subscribestar.com. All of us there live. So bring your drinks. Bring your questions. Super chat donations to help keep the channel rolling, keep the bills paid. Hey, and keep the U308 batteries fully charged. That's right. This baby here is electric. It's an EV. We just had it, all those diesel-powered engines yanked, and we threw them to the bottom of the ocean. No, wait. No, we recycled them. That's what we did. Anyways, good golly, folks. It's a shit show. It really is. It is. The whole thing. Don't count on the federal government to save us. Don't count on your state government to save us. But at least with your state government, you have an opportunity to yell at them and make them hear you. At the federal level, forget it. Folks, the Department of Defense will not release a report on the funding of Chinese research laboratories. And you know why they won't? They're not denying a subpoena. They're not refusing a FOIA request. They're saying that there's limitations in the DoD tracking systems. So inside their computer, they can't figure out how to find documents having to do with Chinese research laboratories. I think that hiding information is an admission of guilt that they don't want to face. I think that it serves as evidence of funding weaponized disease research and manipulation. But they don't know how to go to a line and type in keywords like Chinese, Wuhan, bat, virus, COVID, corona, yada, 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 yada. Nope. They're going to say there's limitations in the DoD tracking systems. That's our federal government. And I'll see you Sunday Night Live. Be there or be square.